Hey everyone, welcome back to Download or Not. We are in 2021, and what this means is we have a new 5 games to review. So let's get started. So, what was cool about this time, we had 2 sets of games that were the same genre, which kind of made it interesting to review. So, first up, we have When Ski Lifts Go Wrong, which came out in 2019, Metacritic score of 80, and you're looking about 2 hours of gameplay, and it's normally $15. And this is your kind of like bridge builder based off. But if you keep up with this series, there will be a link here. But this was reviewed basically last year in December, well, 2019. And I'll just highlight some of the stuff here with these old clips of you can build ramps. Obviously, you're building ski lifts more. But what this game did unique was it took advantage of allowing different construction. You weren't just building a bridge like most other games. You weren't just being on the ski lift. It was like making a ramp and courses. So that's what was unique. And I would say I recommend this as a download if you do want this new experience in this genre. If you don't like the bridge building games at all, you probably will not like this one either. So that's the downside. Next up, we have Bridge Constructor Playground, which came out in around 2014. This was the second in the series and probably one of the last more generic versions that were there before they took on like Portal and all that. This is about 2 hours gameplay, and you're looking to spend about $10 if it wasn't free. We've seen different versions of these games come out on Prime Gaming. What is this? Is basically your standard bridge builder, the one of the original versions, like I mentioned. So you get different materials, and they have different strengths and weaknesses, and cost different amounts of money. So each stage you have like 5 goals to get the cars across, get the trucks across, and to spend under the par value for money, etc. So you can have different weights across your bridge. I don't have much else to explain here because I feel like most people have seen this game. And this was one of the older ones. It has the normal expected challenge you'll have of seeing the weight, and that was kind of cool. And I would actually recommend this as a download as well. I was on the fence of this one because if you want one of the original big construction games, this is one of them to get. It's a perfect time for it. If you are looking for more to this, because again, this was the basic version, I highly recommend just skipping this one and getting the Ski Lifts Gone Wrong or Go Wrong in order to get more of an experience. Next up, we have Along the Edge, which came out in 2016. Again, about 2 hours of gameplay here for a $13 game originally. There was no Metacritic score for this one, which also the Bridge Constructor didn't have one either, which I found odd. And this is a visual novel, and you start playing this character who went through, it sounds like a bad breakup, divorce, and is moving into her grandparents' house in this small village, and you kind of interact with people, and you find out the story of there's a big family that overrules it, but evidently your family used to be one of the big higher rulers of this village, and you kind of go through that. The praises I have on this game is they have pretty cool visuals for it. I was kind of intrigued by this, and the music that was behind it changed with the scenes, and it kind of gave you that environment feel. So that was cool, and I enjoyed that, but the story was kind of plain to me. You kind of pick up in the path I was going. I noticed they were talking about more like witches and stuff like that. So that made it interesting. And as you can tell, my path, there is multiple outcomes. This is one of them games where every decision you make impacts the story. There was no good or bad decision, so I haven't played that game fully out. These 2 hours is for one gameplay, but there is multiple endings. So it has a lot of replay value here. But the problem I had was just the story. Like, I just couldn't get involved with it, and I felt drowned for a 2 hour game. I was like, at the beginning, I felt like the first half hour was just a lot of like going to the bakery and teaching the school I was teaching and stuff like that. And I would say not download it. The positives here is the multi-branching storyline. So that adds a lot of replay value. So if you are big into those type of stories, this is helpful. The negatives here is course, visual novels are just a genre that some people like or don't like, but if you need a story to grab you instantly to get you through it, this game did not help me on that. Next up, we have a kind of visual novel called Alt Frequencies that came out in 2019. I almost said last year. Another 2-hour game, so you can tell this month's games are a little on the short side, which is nice for once. It's looking at about $8 and a Metacritic score 65. The story here is you're caught in a time loop. The government's trying to pass a bill to run the time loop, but you're kind of finding out that maybe they ran it before everything was approved, and you're kind of trying to get the message out. So it's very big conspiracy theory stuff, and what you need to do is record messages from the radio and send them to other stations. And that's basically all you do is you flip through radio stations, record something, send them to another station to figure out this mystery and figure out what's going on. So super simple controls. But what grabbed me is this unique experience. It was just listening to radio stations, and they were actually entertaining. You started recognizing the people for each station. The big ones I had during this was the news and the music station. You'll recognize them, and then like a talk radio show. So it's straightforward, very short, and I would say a download. I know this wasn't the best in Metacritic, but the positive here was something different, and the story was simple enough and grabbed me enough immediately to continue through. The con here is, again, it's a very visual novel based. Like the screenshots you've been seeing, that's all you see. You usually just see text. And there's not really much motion, but with the interaction of the radio stations, I felt it was worth it, and this new experience is why I got into a lot of the free games to begin with, is finding something different. So this fit my niche very well, and I would say download. Alright, last up is the longest game for this month, Void Bastards, at 9 hours. It came out in 2019, and you're looking to pay about $30 normally, and it's got 81 on Metacritic. This was a first-person shooter, and first off, the thing you're going to notice, the animation of the game. You get this comic book style cutscenes, and then it's comic book style while you play. It's very unique. You got the Borderlands style, but not really cell shaded, so it's not completely like that, and it looks really nice. I enjoyed that. You first start off in this weird tutorial level. They didn't really tell you too much, but they help you get around, and you're supposed to die. And then you get a new client, and this was a unique aspect of the game. When you die, you get a new client, and usually you have a positive and negative thing. So a lot of the recordings here, the negative was the guy I had smoked. So if I was hiding from someone, I had a chance that he would cough, and that's how you get caught sometimes. So it was interesting. I enjoyed that randomness, but it did suck when I had the guy that smoked to cough, because it was like, I can't hide. Basically, the idea here is to get to the nebula from jumping ship to ship, and you're kind of looking for ID to prove your client exists. Evidently, they were lost. Each ship you go to is randomly generated, and they also have modifiers. This one level here, you could tell there was no lights. That was just there. The power was on, but I had no lights, and that's how that whole ship worked. And you're designed to struggle, grind. This has been like a new subgenre of games, is this whole, you build up a character, but you're designed to fail before you beat it the first time, and you replay, but you get to keep some of the stuff you had. And this is what happens. Every weapon you build, you actually get to keep through each client. I'm assuming through the robot that's attached to the back. You have food to heal in between traveling or resting, but there's only a few heal stations, so it is designed that you're going to lose health, and you have to maintain that. Overall, I enjoyed this fun game. You could tell the grinding games like this I'm starting to enjoy more, and I would say download this. The pros here is the graphics. Like, that stands out immediately, and it's just different. There is humor in here. It's a little on the darker side, but I was entertained by that. The negative here is that constant struggle, looter grinding style of the game may not work for you. And if you don't like that in some other versions, you probably want to stay away from this game. So yeah, we had a pretty decent month this time around. The visual novels, I do like the radio one more. The bridge constructions ones, the bridge constructor, I was on the fence of saying download or not on that one, but since it is one of the originals, you might as well play it and enjoy it if you do like them games. But overall, I was pretty satisfied with this month, and we can't wait to see what comes out next month in February. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please comment if you tried any of these games and what you actually thought of them. Peace.